Welcome to another edition of the Wrestling Retrospective podcast. I'm your host, Earnest EJ Christian, coming to you. We're recording this, was it May 21st, 2024? We're back here with my guys here. We got Rob, the genius, of course, Rob Bonnette, and of course, DJ Ventura, both of the Mindless Wrestling podcast. I might start to catch up here quick, and there we go. Bang, there you guys are. What's up, guys?
Not much, buddy. How you doing?
Back.
You look. I know it's been a week, DJ, over a week, but you still look a little worn from that festival on Rockville in Daytona.
Buddy, it's taken. I think I may have come back with a little something. I've been fighting. I'm not sick, but I feel like that point where you feel like you're starting to get sick.
Yeah,
I've been riding that line for about 5 days. Like I haven't gotten sick. It's like, okay, can I either get sick or get over it? But man, Rockville was amazing. Like I'm ready to go back tomorrow.
Yeah. And by the way, I listened to a podcast with you and your girlfriend on there. Fantastic job she did as well, by the way. That's the story about you losing your tickets to ACDC.
Awesome stuff, right?
And so senior skip day, he can let you off on senior skip day? Really?
Oh no, man! I grew up in a rough household. My parents were tight about school. There was no such thing as senior skip day.
Well, you know what? I know I got a podcast coming very soon. You know, on my main show. We'll probably discuss that on the road. But that was just funny to hear that. Obviously, Rob, you're next. You okay?
Yeah, look, with all the injuries they had, you know, I mean, even if they won Game 7, they're going to be killed by Boston. So yeah, it's just So I wish. I mean, don't get me wrong. I wish we'd won Game 7. I definitely didn't want to get blown out, but
of course,
it is what it is. This was, we have made some progress this year, and now we're just, we were going to win the whole thing anyway. So now, hopefully Julius Randle will make it through the whole season next year, and we can. If he's there,
if he's even there, who knows? But yeah, I still say that if I'm not even a Knicks fan, but I'll still say if you have a healthy team there, you guys will beat Indy in 5 games.
Yeah, so, and I do not want LeBron or his kid coming to our team either.
No, you keep it young, keep it fresh. You know what I mean? So anyway, we are continuing our 1989 Mega Powers storyline. I'm going to call that. I mean, it seems to be the Mega Powers being the main thing right now. We are now. I've now approached the 1989 event. Well, so I say the main event, the second installment of the main event. Obviously, this is a spinoff to Saturday's main event. Of course, you won't notice that on the Peacock because Peacock has all that stuff lumped in each other. But this again, to remind folks, when we did this last year on the '88 version, the very first version, the main event was a live show that was done on a Friday night, in February. This was typically the original lead-in to Wrestlemania. To the show. This show's from was back in the day. This event, of course, took place live on Friday, February 3rd, 1989, at 8 p.m. Eastern Time from the Bradley Center in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Live broadcast drew an 11.6 rating and 19.9 million viewers.
Wow.
And remember, now, mind you, this is a downgrade from last year because last year, the Andre Hogan rematch of the first main event drew 30 million plus.
That's crazy, man.
Again, when people have understanding how big Hogan was, these guys were, how big wrestling was back in 1989, this shows you exactly how big wrestling was in 1989. That being said, did you guys watch this event live?
Yes.
I'll probably remember it as I go along, but I probably did. I was pretty tapped into the Saturday Night Main Event shows back then.
Right. Now, I'll tell you now, spoiler alert, whatever. This is the night the Mega Powers break up.
Okay, then yes, I did watch this one live.
I did watch. I have a story to share with this quick. I did watch this live. Now, behind the curtain here with my life here, I was now 8, turning 9. My mother had around this time banned me from watching wrestling. Because I was in 3rd grade. I was always wrestling in school with the kids in there. So it's like you gotta stop watching this crap because you're not behaving. You're not this and that. It is what it is. My mom this week, this day, happened to be out of the country for a week. Went to Trinidad for a week to go to Carnival with family. So I was staying at my godmother's house. God bless my godmother, Brenda. Shout out to Brenda. She let me watch this event. I watched it live.
Awesome.
So I was able to watch this event live, in real time. But yeah, that's the scene behind that. So we're gonna do a watch along. There's 2 matches here, but before we get to the 2 matches, I want to highlight something real quick. This show was actually a longer show. While I'm gonna only show two matches here, this was a 9-match card. I want to go through the card real quick before we get started.
Wow.
First match here, we had Andre beating Jake Roberts in the singles match. Now, mind you, Andre and Jake will meet in WrestleMania, obviously, 2 months later.
Right.
We had the Fabulous Russo brothers defeat the Hot Foundation with Brother Love as special referee. We had the Ultimate Warrior defend his title, IC title, against Greg Valentine. We had the Demolition defeat Powers of Pain by DQ for the tag team titles. We had another dark match here. We had the Brainbusters beat the Rockers. We had Brutus Beefcake and Mr. Perfect in the double DQ. And we had Jim Duggan beat Dino Bravo in a flag match. So this was actually on the show, but not televised. So,
okay.
Anything stood out? Those 7 matches. Anything stood out there? You guys?
Probably the Hart Foundation match because I was a big Hart Foundation fan at the time.
Mm-hmm. Rob?
The Jake and Andre thing. That one, and for me, yeah, it's that one because they've been going all over the country, and so then they were leading up to the WrestleMania match, of course.
Of course, yeah. But you wouldn't, if you weren't watching see on the house shows, you wouldn't think that Jake and Andre met before WrestleMania. I had no idea this card existed actually, in full like this. Obviously, you assume there's a larger card, but you don't really play it in the air unless you're really doing the extra research. But yeah, there were some of the matches on the show were not televised. So anyway, we're gonna get started right now. To all the podcast listeners here, it is Saturday's Main Event, season 5, episode 2. We're doing the entire episode, the entire show here. Should be about 48 minutes and change. So if you need to pause this podcast, we do so now. Otherwise, fellas, ready to go?
Ready when you are.
This is a massive part of my childhood. This night was a massive part of my childhood. So we're going to enjoy it together in 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. I used to love these intros. These little super flash. By the way, that's the backdrop of today's podcast. And there's a good old days of the Mega Powers, SummerSlam '88 here,
when which we actually happy and
which we covered last year on this show.
Yep.
But
they're showing highlights of this beatdown from Bossman on Hogan. This was violent.
Yeah.
By the way, Rob and I agreed that this might be Hogan's best non-title feud ever. Bossman Hogan.
Yeah, it was a good feud. It really was.
Yeah, because he got to really cut loose. In that one.
Yeah.
I think Vince, when Hogan wasn't the champ, I think Vince let Hogan get away with a little more.
Oh, you saw more. Rob, you said Rob, you said what last time we did the pod. You saw a little more of the heelish Hogan without the belt.
Yeah,
I think you said that too also on one of the pods.
Well, because a lot of '80s baby faces, they even though they were good guys and as far as their character or whatever, but they when it came time to actually fighting in the ring, they would color outside the lines a little bit,
Yes, sir.
Jerry Lawler would flat out use weapons and throw fire in people's faces and stuff like that, and Dusty wouldn't shy about pulling using a chair or something if the situation called for it. And now, whereas now today, especially with the IWC, if somebody so much as frowns during a promo and it's oh, they're about to turn heel,
yeah,
come on.
Which is funny because they want to like all their heels.
Yeah.
It's that the IWC is so confused, man. They don't know what they want.
And I don't want to complain with IWC all the time, but they make it watching wrestling so hard to enjoy because, look, not to sound like old guys off the long guys, but us three are guys are mid-40s, late 40s. Some of us crossed 50 recently. I'm looking at you, Rob.
Yeah.
Both of us, Rob and I.
That's right,
both-
DJ. That's right, DJ. You sold 2 holes. That's right.
Yeah, I crossed the line before Rob did.
That's right. I keep forgetting that. You see, the beard makes you look a little younger, DJ. So I thought maybe you're a little bit younger.
Younger.
A little bit.
Everybody tells me if I shave the beard off,
No,
look
I
40
disagree.
again.
I disagree, brother. I disagree. I disagree with that, bud.
Oh, I appreciate it. Look at Jesse with a green feather boa that doesn't match a damn thing he's wearing. I love it.
This dude gave 0 fucks about his fashion.
Just, you heard he's talking to WWE again about coming in and doing some work with them, haven't you?
Really?
Yeah, they're in negotiations with Jesse again.
That's
no
amazing.
clue what he's going to be doing, whether he's going to be on TV or he's going to be doing just like voiceovers for like documentaries or what. But yeah, they're in conversation with Jesse Ventura again. Now that Vince is gone.
Okay, so let's play a picture real quick. Now you just mentioned that Jesse Ventura WWE. Let's just assume that he gets a commentary role. Could he work?
Oh,
I say yes.
Yeah.
I mean, as long as he's. I mean, if he's up for it, like, because I mean, sometimes listening to Jim Ross now is just painful. So if he's not in that type of state, you know, that JR is in, like JR is in now.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, I mean, if
give it a shot.
Yeah.
I think you don't lose that wit. I just think he has a nice pulse.
I think you put Jesse Ventura on the premium live event kickoff panels. I think that's where Jesse lands.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing would be is, is he going to take the time to learn who all the people are and everything?
Yeah,
that's the biggest thing, because I mean, you see this sometimes, like even on the inside the NBA. Much we love Charles and Kenny and all. There are times where they've even made a bit out of it. Like this thing called, they have this bit called like who's he play for, and where they basically admit to not knowing what team some people are on. I mean,
tell me you don't watch all the games without telling me
you don't watch all the games. Is
right.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and but,
look at Akeem hysterical.
Yeah. So I mean,
I read an article on Akeem. Sorry, Rob, I cut you off totally.
No, so just if Jesse was up for it and he really was committed, I'd say absolutely bring him back for something.
Jesse was a hell of a talker. Hell of a talker, man.
Just let him be him. Like what I don't like about how you use Jerry Lawler post Jim Ross is that Lawler as a babyface announcer does not work. It does not work. Let Jesse cook.
And see, I always like Jesse because he didn't overdo it with the heel stuff.
That's true. I just think one of Jesse's most impressive runs was like that Warrior Hogan match in Mania 6.
Yeah.
Being able to balance that whole thing.
Yeah, Jesse, while he was definitely a heel, he brought balance when it was needed. I agree with you there.
Yeah. Look at the crowd that danced to Akeem.
I read something recently with him in an interview. I don't know how old the interview was, but he was talking about the Akeem character.
Sorry.
He's like, we had no clue. None of this. He's like, he went out and did this dance on a whim. Like Vince just gave him he gave him the name, they gave him the costume and said, okay, go do something with it. Like there was no plan to the Akeem thing. He just changed his gimmick. He's like, I didn't know what to do. He's like, I've been the one-man gang for my entire career. Now all of a sudden I'm Akeem. Who is Akeem? What does Akeem do? So I guess he does the things with his arm.
To be fair, though, a lot of the one-man gang stuff that he did was Akeem did on steroids. Like he was doing all that little weird little like jive soul stuff. That he was already doing that somewhat. Akeem, he did on steroids.
Right, he amped it up to 11, which was hilarious.
Yeah. Oh wait, seeing the best of the Mega Powers here.
Yeah, the handshake, all the foreshadowing.
Did you guys in real time? Now, obviously, you guys are at this point. You were 15 years old, right? I'm assuming 89.
89, just almost 16. Yeah.
I was 15. Yeah.
Did you predict before watching this in real time that they're breaking up tonight?
Oh well,
no.
yeah.
I didn't. I was dumb. I bought into it
because I looked at it like when they were in the ring together at WrestleMania 4. At that point, I'd gotten smart enough at that point, and I'm like, okay, they're fighting next year. Yeah, just a matter how they're there.
It's a fun journey. Big Boss Man only in the WWE now at this point, like maybe 6 months, and already in a main event spot
Yeah,
with the two biggest guys in the company. That's amazing.
well, his story is remarkable. I think I don't know if I told it here or not, but he was a jobber. Well, he was a Saturday jobber in the NWA, and he did that for a few weeks, and then like Dusty and Cornette and a few other people said this guy's too talented to just having him be a Saturday jobber. We're gonna do something else with him. And he was going by his real name at the time, and then so they took him off of TV, and then about a few months later, he was Jim Cornette's bodyguard, Big Bubba Rogers, and that changed his whole career around.
For all the love that Hogan gets and all that, this whole storyline, to me, forget the wrestling on what he does in the ring. Savage is the little things. When Hogan says, right here in this promo here, the love between men and women, between him and Hogan, you see Savage pause for a second. It's a quick second. Like, what? And it's, oh, okay, I'm back in character again.
Yeah.
Savage is acting through this entire feud and this entire night, really, and you'll see it here. So underrated. Selling this stuff. Selling the storyline. The little things. Phenomenal. It's why I said when we did that podcast on my Unrestricted podcast about a month ago, when we were reacting to the Beach Report's list of top 50 all time, WWE all time.
Yeah.
Even though we disagreed that Savage was a little bit too high in the list at number 3, the reason why it didn't bother me was because Savage is probably the one wrestler in history of pro wrestling that checks every single box at a high level. Not just checks it, but checks at a high level.
Yeah.
And then includes all the stuff here too also. The little things here also.
Yeah, he really was a master of nuance. I was talking with another guy that Rob and I have podcasted with, this guy Dave, and Savage, when you look back at it, I was always a Savage fan, but my appreciation for what he did and how good he was didn't come until much later in life. There is absolutely a solid argument to be made for Savage being one of the GOATs. And I would accept any list where he's in the top 5 all-timers.
Yeah.
I would accept that list.
And the only reason I would never put him in there, even though he's my all-time favorite wrestler, period.
Yeah.
My number one is that the company, other than like this 1 year, and you can still argue Hogan's still the guy, trying to have the belt, it was never built around Savage.
Right.
WWE was built on Hulkamania. Even without the title, Hulkamania was still the guy.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason you go that route. Other than that, Savage is arguably the greatest number two guy in history of wrestling. Arguably.
I accept that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
The only other guy I put in that conversation is The Rock. When him and Austin. Well, most would say that Rock and Austin were on the same even keel. Same. I would still put Austin slightly ahead of Rock.
I nudge Austin slightly higher because if the Stone Cold Steve Austin gimmick had fallen flat in the water, we'd have no Rock.
And
it would not have worked.
And we discussed that on the podcast too. That same podcast I referenced.
We did.
And the reason why I think The Rock has now passed Austin, the reason why now The Rock is now on my Mount Rushmore is I think even though I totally agree with you because I have the same argument with The Rock in terms of like he need Austin to crawl so he can walk and all that. But The Rock has done so much since then, and now we're talking about 25 years later, and he's still relevant as he is.
Yeah,
I think he's overtaken and surpassed that Austin excuse at this point now.
I think Austin could still be relevant if he wanted to. I think Austin's made his peace with how his career ended. And the problem with wrestling, and I know this because I did it, it's a drug. And these guys get addicted. And I think Austin's afraid that if he goes back out there and starts to get involved again, he's going to want to do more than he is physically capable of doing. And that's disappointing. So it's like I can either not do it and be comfortable and happy with what I did and be in at least reconcile that I ended it on my terms. So yeah, it's a difficult call because I think he could still maintain relevancy in today's day and age if he wanted to.
I don't know. Relevancy. I would argue to this day in 2024, he is still Hyde Powers, the most popular superstar in the history of pro wrestling.
Okay.
Hyde Powers. I'm not talking about like what he's done. I'm talking about if Austin comes out right, he did 2 years ago in WrestleMania 37 or 38, whatever it was.
Yeah.
He still, to this day, gets the biggest pop in the company now. To this day.
He does.
To this day. And to me, and that's how I gauge that argument. That's why my argument wasn't necessarily about The Rock, Austin, who deserved it on Mount Rushmore. I think both are there now. I think before it was Austin, Hogan, Cena, and maybe Rowan. You figure that out. But I think now The Rock's in that Mount Rushmore because I think he's done so much since the Attitude Era, and also redefine that character in the same way Undertaker did his character, and keep that character fresh. Yeah, I think we can't keep using the Austin argument against him any longer because now it's been so long now. It's been 25 years.
Yeah, and I guess now if we're strictly talking about the Attitude Era, I would put Austin ahead of him still.
Yes,
but now, because look, Rock has come back twice now, or since then, and he's been in 3 WrestleMania main events since then.
Yeah.
So, and the 2 against Cena in the tag team match this year. So. And not as a novelty act, because with Austin a couple of years ago, that really was kind of a novelty.
It was.
But whereas Kevin Owens took care of him pretty well, so he didn't have to.
Yeah.
Whereas Rock was out there taking table bumps this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he
came to work, and I'm so glad that he did because he really shut a lot of people up.
Yes,
sure did.
I want to come to this match here because I want to talk for a minute about we talked a bit about Boss Man and his ascension and just how good he is. Hogan knew it. You watch Hogan work with him. Hogan knew there was money to be made here.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so cool. And Hogan gets a lot of criticism for not putting people over. But I think Hogan understood the hierarchy and the pecking order, and obviously he was very selfishly protective of himself. I think we can politely say that. But at the same time, he knew money in a good opponent, and the Boss Man was a great foil. He was a great opponent.
And I guarantee you, he had heavy say-so on who he wanted to work with at this point because Hogan was the guy. Hogan's the guy. Hogan's the guy.
Yeah.
Vince is giving him the keys to the kingdom. And he knew right away with Boss Man. He ain't working anybody. Trust me, Hogan ain't working anybody.
Yeah, no, he's not just going out. He's got to. Listen, that's kind of like the Brock Lesnar ended up in that role towards the end of his career. He's like, who do you want to work with? Or, they might suggest, hey, we'd like for you to work with him. And he's either going to nix it or he's going to say, yeah, okay, I can do that.
Yeah, and you can tell real quickly whether Brock wanted to be there or not.
Yeah.
Go
ahead.
The infamous match with the Dean Ambrose at WrestleMania.
Oh my God, it's
just like
to this day that is probably one of my modern disappointments because that had all the potential in the world, and Lesnar just basically showed up to work and said, "Nah, not today."
Yeah, because Dean wanted to do all that, a bunch of wacky stuff, and Brock didn't really do all of that.
Nope. Brock Lesnar doesn't do that, sir. Not in, 2017, 2016?
2016, yeah.
Yeah, Brock Lesnar doesn't do that. And maybe 2006 Brock Lesnar would have.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bossman's is a great freaking worker.
He's so
good.
And
think about it, you'll see later this year, Bossman drops a shit ton of pounds.
He does. He drops a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to ask you guys this real quick. When was the last time you guys watched WrestleMania 2000? WrestleMania 2000.
It's been a while.
WrestleMania 16.
A few years ago. Yeah.
I don't think I've watched it in its entirety since its first airing, live.
I'm there with you.
Yeah. Well, I watched it a few years ago. I wrote a review for it, and I remember watching it live, and when it was over, I went to one of my friends' house. He had a whole kind of party and everything. And when it was over, we were just all like, "Man, what was that?"
Yeah, I haven't watched it since the day it aired, and I'm actually in the middle of watching it now because I'm watching all the WrestleManias in order. And I'll say it again. I'm reminded again why I had it in my bottom 5 WrestleManias all time.
Yeah, it's that bad.
It does not stand out at all, other than the TLC match with obviously EJ Christian, Dudley's, and that's pretty much the only match that saves the show. But like, to be honest with you, the main event with the 4-way McMahon's match, Rock, Triple H, Mick Foley, and Big Show. I'm sorry, Triple H and Rock could have headlined themselves.
That and then the finish to that match was just, oh man.
Because you are going to make me go back and watch it now.
Hunter won the match, and he lost the title a month later.
Yeah, and it's just like, what are we doing?
There was a lot of crazy, like I don't have a problem with Hunter. Like, I always enjoyed Hunter's work, but there were a lot of matches that dude won that didn't make a lick of sense in booking. Obviously, the glaring one is Booker T at WrestleMania.
Which one?
The other one was
19.
Yeah.
Okay.
The other one for me was the first. What were they calling it? Basically, they started off the match with a wrestling match and ended in the Hell in a Cell. It was like 3 stages of Hell match.
Oh yeah.
It was Austin and Triple H in the 3 stages of Hell, and this was the culmination of Hunter turning on Austin violently, and I'm like, and Hunter ended up winning this feud over your biggest star.
Was it a WrestleMania match?
No, it was No Way Out or something.
Okay. Yeah, no, it wasn't a WrestleMania match, but I'm just saying during that era when we're talking about wacky and wonky booking, that was one of those Triple H booking decisions. And he didn't make the decision, but it was one of those matches that he went over and it didn't make a lick of sense story-wise.
Right. Well, again, we talk about After Era and this and that. After Era WrestleManias aren't really that great, to be honest.
They're not.
15 is not another one.
Oh, 15 was great. 15 was bad for me. Yeah,
start to finish. A lot of icky moments. They don't age well. The boss man getting hung from a fucking cage does not age well. Does not age well whatsoever. It's arguably the worst Austin Rock match. Not just Mania matches. I would take the Backlash match they did a month later over that match.
It
so
was
bad.
Yeah, it was not good.
And the worst part, I watched that one live. So, yeah, it doesn't stand out for me at all. And, people say, well, what Mania 17? Well, people argue that Mania 17 was the very bookend of the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
So can you really include that, though? I don't know.
Well, that was kind of like the final.
Yeah. There's the bump. Macho Liz.
Whoa. Yeah, he took Liz out on that one.
So
kudos to her for taking that, man.
I guess they practiced that also because I guess where his legs are and where her head was, she took the bump wasn't as bad because I guess the way he landed on her, she was able to not take as obviously kayfabe was talking about here.
Right.
It wasn't as bad as it looked. But
the
here it is.
Camera angle was perfect though because it looked violent.
It does. Now this feud, if this feud is done now 20 years later, we know who the heel is here. Yep.
Hogan over here trying to give mouth to mouth. Sir, what are you doing?
Yeah.
This is where Hogan fucks up too, especially. I'm talking about as like common sense here. Let paramedics come, take her to the back, and continue the fucking match.
Yeah.
Savage was right all along. Where Savage fucked up, and I guess this is why they made it to make sure he gets the heel turn here. You'll see later on is when he got extra violent with Liz in the back. Yeah. We'll see later on, obviously.
Hogan's listening for a heartbeat. God.
Like just get the stretcher out of here or something, man. That's all you gotta do.
Yep.
Savage in here holding his own against the 2 big men, and Hogan's just kind of standing there watching.
Look at Liz, like a bar.
You can handle him, brother. I'm gonna take the girl to the back.
And do what with her?
Savage, he looks like Superman holding a dead Supergirl from the Crisis on Infinite Earths.
Savage had every reason to be upset.
Exactly.
That's what it looks like.
Now, my question is: were you guys in real time? Were you guys Team Savage or Team Hogan here with this situation? Because I was Team Hogan. Because I was naive.
I was Team Hogan. My buddy was full on Team Savage. My one of my best friends growing up was one that Savage could kick a puppy through the uprights on a football field, and he would have been Team Savage.
Right there, like the kick the puppy right there. Dig it.
As soon as Savage started the ascent, my buddy was bought and paid for. It was great. We used to argue.
Hogan's acting so bad here. Tizime. we just still kept that in the. You know the story about the when they there's there was two different like errors in the back here, filming this thing. One is because they go to commercial in real time. Remember, this is a live show. This is not something. Right. It's a live show, and he's asking, "What's the time left before we go to air again?" And they're ready on air. You
Jesus!
It's on YouTube. I'll find it for you. It's on YouTube. He said it was a Tizime.
We're live, pal.
Yeah, you won't see it here because obviously they cut it.
Yeah, they edited it out.
And of course, there's another error also too later on when during the Savage when he's back there brawling with Hogan, Beefcake gets into the picture too soon. So
they've got an IV pole set up, no IV run. Hogan's over here practicing his no hold barred scenes.
Yeah. Oh God, you okay? Liz, oh God, like stop, Hogan. Go back to the fucking ring.
Your best friend, your brother is getting his ass whipped in the ring. Yeah. You're hanging out here sweating all over his old lady.
What did they say, bros?
You nasty.
What did they say, bros before what? Bros before.
That's right.
Yeah, that thing. Dude, as a child, I was absolutely pro Hogan on this.
Yeah.
As a full-fledged adult now, Macho, you were correct, man. And I apologize.
Yeah. Oh, my God.
Honestly, I was pretty neutral because actually I've gotten – this is the point where I'm starting to figure things out as far as being smartened up. So I was just kind of sitting back and watching and enjoying the story, basically, at this point.
Go help him. Go help him.
And here's Liz. Liz is the one telling him to go to the ring.
Yeah.
How's Macho mad about that? Liz is the one telling him, get the fuck out of here. Go back and help your brother. Savage taking the fucking beating of his life.
He is. They've been beating on him for like the last 5 minutes here.
Yep.
Poor dude. This is a night off for the boss man and Akeem.
Yeah. Yep. Look at Akeem. Again, give Akeem credit, man. He really dove into this character. As ridiculous as it was, he dove into the character.
Well, I mean, that's what. Look, if they give you a silly character, that's what you have to do.
Yeah.
Like you can't half-ass like any type of comedy actor, whatever. You can't.
Yeah.
You gotta.
There's an old adage in the business: stupid sells, and that's absolutely true. You take some of the dumbest shit, like as terrible of a character as Perry Saturn was, he got a mop over.
Mm-hmm. I love watching Slick in the outside the ring, like this antagonizing the crowd.
Slick is a top 5 all-timer, man.
Let's go.
He's so good.
And Bossman tags back in again. Another thing too, also, you notice that Hogan doesn't have the Mega Powers like decal on his shorts, but Macho does. That's another clue that Hogan was a bit selfish. How does Savage have it? Hogan does not have it. Oh, look at the bump. Akeem. Whoop!
Oh, everyone Akeem, he just kept on going.
No, wait a minute. That wasn't supposed to happen, right? That
was not planned.
Okay, because the crowd's thinking maybe Hogan had grabbed the ropes or something.
No, he fell behind.
Nope. Akeem didn't grab the top rope when he went back on it. No, his big ass just went through it.
Man.
Credit to Akeem for hanging.
He could have hurt himself.
Oh yeah,
he might have too.
So Savage just throws him out the other side.
And here we go. Look at Savage acting. Look at that. Okay.
Yeah, all right, I'm gonna slap the taste out of your mouth. It's all yours.
Yep. I think Rob and I, we did Royal Rumble 89 right before this event. Last time we did the podcast, and we saw the last vestige, the last like showdown between Hogan and Savage. Obviously, they made up because they made up, but yeah, that was one of the last clues of dissension, and now we're here.
Yeah, this is the beginning of the end. Or actually, this is the end.
This is the end,
Yeah.
and the end gets worse. And watch Macho, man. Watch Macho's act. Watch. Okay, get off of me. I'm back in my 86, 87 bag again.
Yeah.
Bad guy.
Here's a bit of trivia. The actually, Boss Man beat Akeem for the UWF Championship.
Really?
Yes. Before
When?
they both came to that was 1987. Yeah.
Okay.
Before they both came to WWF. And of course,
Oof.
yeah. So yeah, I mean, and obviously Akeem was a one-man gang, and the Boss Man was Big Bubba Rogers at that point.
Right. Look at Savage acting. Look at him. Peace. I'm done, man. I'm done. Peace. Goodbye.
Taking my championship. I'm out of here. You're on your own, kid.
Yeah, you left me. I'll leave you now. Don't touch me.
And see,
Leave my
yeah,
dog alone.
and see that's the other important thing. He's not shaking hands with anybody.
Yeah. So now Savage is a heel. Now he has to continue selling it. So they're gonna do things here to make sure he's a heel. What's funny is that one. Go ahead, Rob. Go ahead.
Oh, because and that's the follow through is important because because I mean that's one if I had a kind of a pet peeve about modern day wrestling is that they too many times that they don't go all the way to be bad, right? They might attack the baby face and then after that they're just saying little snarky stuff on promos or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, one has to imagine if you're going from babyface to heel, and think about it in terms of like merchandising and things like that, you're about to hit yourself in the wallet. Because if you're somebody who's been a babyface for a while and you're used to selling T-shirts and getting your cut of the T-shirts, and all of a sudden you're a true like Baron Corbin heel, and you're about to not sell any T-shirts. That's got to be a tough pill to swallow.
Especially back then. But I think Savage is a special case, though, because Savage, even when he was a heel in 86, 87, he had fans. He had people.
Yeah.
You will still see Savage shirts out there as a full-blown heel.
Yeah.
So I think, and not only that, because he was heel before, it's not a hard transition, to be honest with you, for him. It's how you do it, and it's also splitting him and Liz up, which eventually that'll happen 2 months later.
Yeah.
I never liked the Hogan Liz combo though. Hogan having a manager, like I was disturbing.
It was always awkward.
Yeah,
because it was weird when he went to WCW and he had Jimmy Hart. And
I never bought that. I've never been a fan of that. And no, I mean, even in WWE, like his last year when Mania 9, in his last match against Yokozuna, he had Jimmy Hart. Never understood that. I've always viewed Jimmy Hart as a heel. All right, so his Hogan on a Gorilla now through Gorilla. Macho Man. This is my favorite part of the entire fucking show. Savage is amazing here. I'm not number 3. I'm number 1 in the Mega Powers. He's not wrong about that. Chance to be number 1.
Yeah.
Savage, again, looking as an adult now, all the things he said, he was correct on. He just went nuclear across the board on Liz, and that made him a full blown heel.
Savage should have hit Hogan with a bedpan.
Yeah.
Like Austin and Vince. Like Austin and Vince.
That to this day is still the funniest thing Steve Austin ever did.
It really is.
Was crank him with a bedpan because I don't think it was planned. Because I think now obviously this is Vince talking out of his ass because Vince said that actually gave him a concussion.
The Savage are amazing.
Oh yeah, so he was so intense, man, and so believable.
Liz like, calm down. Wow.
Don't touch me. Don't touch me.
Man to man. He's gonna beat you. It's funny because Savage Hogan's
babyface.
Hogan's much bigger than him in size than Savage. Savage didn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
I think that's what made Macho Man so fun, is that he wasn't the biggest guy out there, but he was damn sure the most intense.
Yeah. My favorite part here. Those eyes. Lust Elizabeth. Him in the nose. Right here. This is my favorite part here. Butts. Come on, man with the belt. I'll beat you 1, 2, 3. That'll be okay. And he fucking crowns him here. Watch this shit. Whap!
Whoa!
Hogan claims though he got a concussion in real life from this shit. I don't believe him.
No, stop.
Hogan lies a lot, dude.
Yeah.
So watch Beefcake here. Watch Beefcake come here. They cut it here, obviously. But Beefcake actually on live TV came in the shot here. See it cut it here. That was a cut. He came too early. Yeah. Right here. This is where Savage was wrong. Here. That was wrong.
Oh wow. Yeah.
Is Jesse egging on in the commentary. And it's Brutus. Brutus the fucking bar of Beefcake. God, Savage is so good, this shit. Look at this. Who the fuck are you? Pat Patterson? Fuck you.
Well, yep. Bye-bye.
From one IC champ to another. Well, I want to get out of here. Come on, hot shot.
And what was great about this was Beefcake, who's usually this goofy comedy character, is actually out here being serious, and I think that helps sell this whole thing.
Yeah. And eventually, Beefcake and Hogan become tag partners later this year, SummerSlam '89. So this is the first pairing. See, one of the things I like about storytelling in wrestling too is also you tell a story and you see like the pairing of other things, storylines into other storylines and other storylines and bridging that. The bridging of storylines is amazing. Especially back then in this era too, especially. All right, so here's the other match we're going to be watching here. Hercules against $1 Million Man. They were trying to push Hercules as a face at this point. Which I won't say it failed, but I don't think they got the result they wanted.
Well, he's a mid-carder,
Yeah.
I mean, that's what he was, and that's fine,
I think he kind of reached the point where he'd lost the feud with the Warrior. He hadn't done anything. I don't think that the Power and Glory were a thing yet.
No, that was a year after.
So they're like, okay, what do we do with this guy? And I think his most interesting time was when he was in Power and Glory. Because I love the tag team.
I thought they were awesome. I agree with you. I thought they were awesome. Yeah, I mean, look, if you can't make a feud work with DiBiase, then I mean, what you got? Because DiBiase is one of us working. I mean, it was a good feud for what it was, but didn't help his push overall. And there's a update here on Mean Gene, updating everybody on Hogan's mental state, as he says. Well,
mental state. He's got a goose egg on his head.
Well, don't fucking Macho's woman. That's all. That's all he had to do. Not much Macho's woman. Fucked around, found out. And there's DiBiase, $1 Million Man, and Mike Jones, Soul Train Jones.
And you can't say enough about how Mean Gene was such an important part of all of this too.
Yep.
Right.
And that gets overlooked now.
Yeah, by the newer fans, yes. By us, like you and I, no. You and I mean, Mean Gene there's always part of what makes this era so great is they have guys around the product that just kind of puts the icing on the greatness of the product. Like obviously you have the Hogans and all the in-ring talent, but then you have a Jesse Ventura, you have a Gorilla Monsoon, you have a Mean Gene Oakland, a Howard Finkel, guys that around it just makes it so believable. That's what this era was so great. Those signature moments, signature voices, that's what makes it great.
Yeah.
Like the Mean Gene controlled those interview segments.
Yeah. I will say though, in terms of like ring announcing, Samantha Irvin is definitely on her way. I think she's the first ring announcer I think I've truly believed in a way since Howard Finkel. Like I don't mind some of the ones they've had in the middle, like Tony Chimmel, and Lillian Garcia's okay, obviously, and here and there, but I've not seen a announcer as impactful as Howard Finkel since is Samantha Irvin.
Yeah, I got to agree with you on that one. Yeah.
She just stands out.
She stands out because of her passion. I mean, the rest of them get out there and they've got their thing and they get into it, but you feel it.
Yeah.
In a way that you haven't felt since Finkel did it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because she's a fan. I mean,
she loves the product and she watched it for years. She said this many times over.
Yeah.
So I found out too also that a lot of times she's not told the result of the matches because
you beat me to it. I was going to say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because she wants to have the same freshness as though she's watching it like you and I are watching it.
Right.
And there's Hercules over the top.
And I think that's the one thing, one of many things that WWE does better than just about anybody else. They pay attention to all those other little nuances. Like, yeah, the wrestlers in the ring should be the focal point, but the other moving parts and pieces, all the other cogs in the wheel have to be fine-tuned as well.
Yeah.
Or else none of this works. And I think just other wrestling promotions miss that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you just can't go out and announce wrestlers to the ring. Nobody gives a shit about that. You got your job as the announcer. You are the first introduction to these people to the fans. So how you introduce them determines whether or not the fans are going to give a damn.
Right.
Well, Finkel, to his credit, especially too, was, I mean, you had the signature and new, or how he'll say certain wrestlers' names, Hogan, Andre the Giant. You know, it felt big because he's saying it. It makes it feel big.
Yeah.
Samantha Irvin's on that level.
Well, like with Samantha Irvin, the way she pronounces Gunther.
Oh yeah.
When she announces Gunther to the ring, all those little nuance things, and I don't think it was her that was doing it. It was somebody else who was doing it with Kevin Owens. They were going to Kevin Owens, and they were like accentuating the O in Owens.
The guy that got fired a couple years ago for some incident.
Is that who was doing it?
What's his name? It was Jeff. No, it's not Jeff. Whatever his name is, but I actually enjoyed him a lot, actually.
Yeah, I liked the way he did that.
Yeah. So yeah, this was a pretty hot feud as well too, going into WrestleMania. This Hercules DiBiase feud. Yeah, obviously Hercules was sold. His contract was sold to DiBiase by Bobby Heenan. So he was supposed to be DiBiase's slave. We of course covered that match on a previous main event from November '88, where if Virgil was able to beat Hercules, then Hercules would remain his slave, and of course Virgil lost, so that didn't happen.
And the beauty of that is that slowly starts to play into Virgil's babyface turn.
Slowly.
Like you were talking just a minute ago, how one story branches into another. Mm-hmm. It all kind of flowed in one cohesive stream.
Of course, the DiBiase Virgil storyline is 4 years long.
Yeah,
5 years long, really. You think about it. From '87, from the time he walked into WWF in '87, you see this slow turn. It eventually happens. Virgil was great when he did. Virgil was great in this.
Yeah, it's the role that he did, and even the time period right after he turned on DiBiase, and even for a while after they cooled him off, he was still getting good crowd reaction.
Yeah, he was. So yeah, this is the lead in WrestleMania 5, pretty much. I mean, there's still one more main event, which we'll cover obviously probably next time. I think with that one will be Liz trying to decide who Hogan and Savage, whose corner she's going to be in. But other than that,
yeah.
Is that Joe Morella doing the match? I think it's Joe Morella.
Let me see.
Show your face. I think that's him.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, this is some good memories, man.
Yeah, they're actually having a pretty good match here. Hercules and DiBiase are cooking.
Again, DiBiase, and we said this. I think one of you guys said that. It might have been Rob. I'm not sure. How the hell is he not in the top 50? DiBiase? Get the hell out of here. Get out of here.
Yeah, I'm still, salty about that top 50.
Serious question. Do any of you know, like at this point in time, Ted DiBiase got to be one of the best win-loss records in the company. Like they protected this dude. Like he didn't lose very often. I think the only person he ever actually lost to was Hogan and Savage.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then
DiBiase beat everybody else.
And eventually Jake, the year after Jake, eventually, when they feuded, he will lose blowout feuds, but build-ups, he was red hot. I mean, you talk about great workers in the history of the company. He's definitely in that mix. He was a phenomenal worker.
Yeah.
That was a Hercules finisher at the time.
The torture rack.
Torture rack, yeah. What did they call it back then, though? He had a name for that, I think actually, back then.
I don't know. I think with Vince, it was all a maneuver,
What a maneuver!
What a maneuver! But it may have been, they may have just called it a backbreaker.
Yeah.
I don't think they actually gave it any official name because it's Hercules.
Of course. It's not important. You don't get a name.
No offense, but
yeah.
You don't get a name.
Wasn't he using a power slam for a little while too?
He was.
That's what I thought.
In fact, I think that was his movie before he turned face, and then when he turned face,
he had a power slam. He was doing a full Nelson at one point, and then they tried to settle it on the backbreaker. But I think by this is what 89. I think by that point Luger was just about on the scene, wasn't he?
Yeah, he was. Is that chain real?
Of course, because we swinging that thing around.
Looked pretty real.
It looks fucking real.
It may have been. It may have been a shoot chain.
Was Vince on a real chain like that at the risk of someone getting hurt, probably in the crowd, or someone in the ring, for that matter? And there's Hogan with this little bad acting. Oh,
now he's frustrated.
Now he's fucking pissed off now. Macho got him hot. Are you pooping? This guy was in his 30s. Look at this. No hair. He was in his 30s this time.
Oh, he started going bald early, man.
I know.
Yeah. Like you look at his first year, and he's got some hair on the top of his head, but not much. God, he's so over dramatic.
It's real, dude. Calm your ass down, dude.
That's crazy.
And there's just no more kerosene in the fire now. Look at Jesse laughing.
He's laughing.
Well, his glasses glow too. Are those Panama Jacks?
Panama Jacks. Yep.
Yeah. Are they still in business?
I don't know if Panama Jack's still in business now or not. Good Lord, Jesse.
Yep. The hospital.
I loved listening to Jesse. This is even before I knew Vince was like the owner. Yeah. I love listening to Jesse give Vince shit. And it's even funnier now knowing some of the stuff Jesse got away with saying that Vince was the boss.
Yep. Now his boss, Hogan. This is just what's funny.
And he's
why is he going to the electrical room?
Yeah. All right, here we go. Who you gonna fuck with now?
He's going full Bret Hart meltdown.
Hart Foundation. Jim Neidhart.
Why you gonna beat up Jim Neidhart?
Yeah,
what did Jim do to you?
They just
Shawn Michaels next.
yeah.
Look, HBK. There's your SummerSlam 05 match.
Oh my god.
And there's Bret. Fucking Hogan's a nut job. More Jannetty.
Jannetty's like, don't touch me, bro.
Yeah.
Is that Bruce Pritchard behind him? I think. Maybe not. Okay.
I don't know.
So I know Dick Ebersol and was a massive part of the. Anytime they did the main event, especially the live shows, Dick Ebersol was always a massive part of the production on this.
Because
Yeah.
Vince buddies, yeah.
Yeah, Dick Ebersol, of course, was the head of NBC because they were all in. They look, you're getting ratings. You're getting ratings. That is what it is. So there you have it. Mega Powers have officially exploded. Well, they'll explode at 5,
Incredible.
obviously.
Yeah.
I guess you guys thought so. This is actually one of the biggest moments in history of wrestling. You guys
Oh, it
thought?
is. And look, and I mean, when we talk about best storylines ever done, you know,
Top two.
yeah, I mean, you know, and because people have been saying Bloodline, and you know, and just that's gone so long. I mean, you gotta, and it's still unfolding, you know. But I'd say this is top 2. I mean, because remember, this went 2 years from the beginning up until like the final matches they had, you know, blowing everything off. This ran for 2 years,
Mhm.
and you know, 2 years without monthly pay-per-views either. So you had 3 or 4 weeks in between pay-per-views.
Yeah.
And you had to, you know, they had to keep it interesting, you know, and all of that. And so they did that for 2 years, man. Yeah.
DJ.
And it has,
sorry.
it has much cleaner, and it has a totally clean start and ending. Because, you know, a lot of these long-running angles, they just kind of fizzle out, you know,
That's
after
true.
a while. They don't like you don't see that, you know, straight up clean ending to a lot of these stories. They just kind of go on for a while, and they just kind of, you know, because you know, one guy will leave the company or something, and that's how that can end
Yeah.
a lot of times, you know.
Yeah.
I was going to piggyback off what Rob was saying. I think it's because of the popularity and how big both these guys were as characters. When you compare them to like when the Rockers split up, in the moment, it was a huge, and it's still pivotal, you know, to the history of WWE and professional wrestling. But then Marty Jannetty just fizzled out. So one half of that feud just kind of fizzled out. So the feud by default fizzled out. Hogan and Savage were white hot for years after this point.
Before and after. Yeah.
Before and after.
Yeah.
So yeah, for this thing to come to fruition and still be hot from bookend to bookend, it is a testament to the characters involved.
It's also a big template for a lot of storylines you've seen after. You know, years
yeah.
after.
Yeah. I mean, they were I don't want to say we're rehashing history because the Bloodline really does stand on its own.
It does.
As a story, but the template for how you can weave in other characters and branch out other storylines from a major angle was built in this time period.
The Bloodline works too, also because there's realism in it. Like there's actually real lineage of guys that wrestle in the company, you know, that you can reference to.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
it becomes its own universe.
Yeah, and then like even Heyman has real life history with the family.
Yeah.
Going back decades. So yeah.
Yep. Mm-hmm. So anyway, fellas, that was awesome as always. You have anything you want to plug before we get out of here?
Rob, go ahead.
Well, as always, you can every week you can hear us on the Mindless Wrestling Podcast with DJ and Jason, and every couple of weeks you can hear me do my own thing on the Rob Genius Podcast.
And DJ.
And you can find me at the Mindless Pod on the app formerly known as Twitter. Again, I work with Rob and Jason. We usually drop on Saturdays on the Chairshot Radio Network. And if you heard EJ and I talk at the beginning of the show, my girlfriend and I went to Welcome to Rockville. But at this point, about a little over a week ago, she and I did a little podcast episode that I thought was a lot of fun. I dropped that on my Twitter there as well.
I can see you guys doing your own podcast. Actually, you two.
That's the thing. I talked to her about it. She might be open to it. I don't know what we talk about on a regular basis. I mean, we do a lot of stuff, but
Yeah, anything but wrestling. I mean,
Yeah, she won't talk wrestling because she didn't know shit about it. Unless we go to the NXT shows, she doesn't know anything about it.
Right. But yeah, check out that episode of that talk about the Rockville show. That was a fantastic episode. I listened to the whole thing today while I was cleaning the house and all that. So yeah, that was a great job. So we'll do this again soon, guys.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Absolutely.